stones beneath my skin, pain walking inside me. I could feel the stone rub against my skin. Every odd step, digging deeper, weakening the flesh, red and irritated. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, we finally rested. We sat on the bench at the top of the lookout as I undid my laces. Holding the boot upside down, I hit the heel, but I saw nothing escape. I must have missed the stone drop. I massaged my heel, hoping the bleeding pain to assuage. We still needed to walk back down. My girlfriend gave me a Band-Aid from her bag. I hoped it would last until we reached the car. A kilometer down the track, I felt the stone again, violently rubbing its dull point against the Band-Aid. I could feel it through and onto my skin. I sat on the ground and removed my boot, smacking it against a nearby tree. I put my hand inside, hoping that maybe it was stuck, maybe caught on the inside material. Nothing, I couldn't feel a thing. I put my boot back on and continued to walk, and yet the stone returned. We were close to the car now, and I couldn't take it anymore. The stone had torn through the Band-Aid. I could feel the warmth of my own blood absorbing through the sock. Every step squelched as the once warm blood was now cold. Frustrated, I removed my boot entirely and walked, my sock leaving a bloody footprint as we walked. I could still feel the stone. It must be in the sock, I thought. I removed my sock and the Band-Aid, then washed my foot under a nearby campsite tap. The water was equally freezing, as it was soothing to the inflamed skin. Washing away the blood, I examined the torn skin. After some poking and prodding, I felt a lump on my heel, as hard as a stone, just under the skin. I thought it was growth, but it seemingly moved freely under the skin. My girlfriend booked me into the GP the next morning. Even though we both had never experienced anything like this, we hoped it wasn't anything serious. I attempted to massage the stone up my leg to a place it wouldn't rub or irritate me. I successfully moved it up to my calf muscle. However, it was only a temporary solution. It wouldn't stay at the calf and slowly fell back to the heel of my foot. We canceled our plans with her parents that night and kept my foot wrapped and completely vertical. I made the mistake of elevating the leg, which only moved the stone down to my arse cheek and began to irritate there. I eventually fell asleep on the couch. I was woken in total darkness with the painfully familiar pressure in my heel. The stone had grown double in size and was accompanied by 2 smaller stones. Then shortly after 3, then 4. With each movement of my leg, I could feel the stones rubbing against my skin from the inside. I could barely walk and the pain was excruciating. I sterilized our sharpest knife and locked myself into the guest bathroom. Just needed a small cut in the skin, small enough for the stone. Once cut, I massaged one of the smaller stones to the opening. I pushed hard and blood spurted like a near-empty ketchup bottle. Only it wasn't big enough. I bit down on the hand towel and cut some more. Finally, one of the stones came out. It was like ecstasy. A rush of dopamine flooded my sleep-deprived brain. I examined the stone, expecting something organic-looking or even something otherworldly my body had somehow produced. But it was just a little black stone, like a piece of asphalt. I had to get more out. I cut and massaged for hours, but by sunrise, my body was producing more stones than I was cutting out. The skin on my leg was stretched and rough, hiding hundreds of stones. I had 4 small bins full of small black rocks. The pain was excruciating, but removing them from my skin was better than any sex. My once pristine white tiles of the guest bathroom were completely stained in blood. My girlfriend knocked on the door, demanding I let her in. The blood had leaked under the door frame. She panicked. With every move of my legs, the stones shifted and rubbed against the inside of my skin, sounding like a bag of Lego. Couldn't stand. I needed to cut. I needed them out. The rocks were up to my knee, and I could no longer bend it. I tore my shirt off and tied it tightly around my thigh. I violently cut through my thigh with the knife. I'd have passed out from the pain, but once the stones began to spill, the adrenaline and dopamine hit and I couldn't stop. By the time I heard the sirens, it was too late. My leg was off. The last inch of skin tore from the weight as my leg fell to the ground. Thousands of stones spilled out onto the red tiles like a blood substitute. Then I finally rested. I awoke a few days later. Leg gone, pain gone. After screaming and hugging me, my girlfriend told me they were examining the stones. It wasn't until I got my prosthetic did I feel the stone again.